Hello, welcome. How's everyone doing today? Welcome everyone. My name is 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙚. I'm a variety streamer. I stream lots of baking, chat suggests me, as well as draw art. And hopefully I'll be doing 3D modeling. Hopefully I'll be doing 3D modeling for everyone here. And I have the one, the only, the lovely Miku here. Say hi.
Hi, what's up?
Thank you, Marlada, following. Welcome. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're doing well. Welcome, new 𝙂𝙤𝙧𝙖. Just feel free to make yourself at home here. Today we're gonna be doing some art practice. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And you? That's good. That's good. Alright. And get my art glove on. There we go. There we go. No, sure. What should I do here? Fuck. Ready? Alright, let's get started, my lovelies. Let's get started, my 𝙂𝙤𝙧𝙖s. Have fun. This one I just found, like, right before I started streams. Like, ooh, I want to add this to our playlist. So basically, what if a Skywalker crash landed in Halo? Which is actually an interesting concept. Plus, I've always wanted a Star Wars X Halo crossover. Have fun.
That sounds like a very interesting concept. Is there any explanation as to how he ended up there? He just found one?
Miku, I haven't even watched it yet.
Oh. I don't know why I thought you did.
Because of my normal streams where I actually react to something.
Yeah. 100%. Honestly, I might have forgotten we were on stream already.
Yep, ADHD does that. ADHD does it all the time.
I'm like, ooh, interesting video. I should watch it.
But yeah. Pop out chat. There we go. Just in case. Alright. Let's get started.
Oh yeah. I didn't mention this before, but I do like the profile picture you have for the art stream.
What if Anakin Skywalker
Yeah, this is my PNG tuber. I made it myself. I do plan on replacing it once I've like improved all my art skills.
Out from the Bumblebee escape pod and stares at the strange structure before them. It doesn't look like any Covenant design, and as they stare, a strange light shoots out from the top of the spire and disappears into the sky. Above them, they see another escape pod descending on the ring's surface. Yet among them, there is another thing that is falling. It's too small to be one of the bulky lifeboats they use, or one of the longsword fighters. One of the Marines zooms in and tries to take a look. It does look like a starship, a sleek arrowhead that is coming fast. Too fast for a controlled descent, and judging by its trajectory, it doesn't look like it will land that far from them. The Marine turns to their sergeant and asks if they need to go take a look at it.
Never mind that, Marine. Grab your rifles. Looks like we might have company soon.
He points towards a spirit dropship approaching their position. Half a kilometer away, Anakin groans as he wakes up in his smoking cockpit. The engine hums faintly, and an alarm blares somewhere. Anakin groans as he tries to shake the confusion from his head. He has little memory of how he got here, just that he felt a strange pull in these coordinates. But as he begins to come to, he realizes he cannot stay here, and then shoves the glass back and leaps out. Thankfully, he doesn't seem injured, and his lightsaber is still on his belt. As far as his landings go, this was one of the better ones. And then he sees a structure in the distance, just as a massive flare shoots out from its base. Anakin decides to head over there. He stumbles to his feet and takes a few shaky steps, but soon regains his bearings. As he approaches, you can hear the sound of fighting.
You like having a fair amount of focus while you're doing art?
He sees a cluster of humans along the building, trying to keep back an advancing force made up
I
of
focus,
strange aliens in brightly colored
pretty
armor.
much.
They are commanded by some
My true
tall,
focus
lizard-like
comes
being
from
with
listening
force
to
splitting
YouTube video
tentacles.
and drawing.
The rest are either strange
So my brain is not
aliens with
understimulated.
handheld shields, or
No, yeah,
squat
I understand
crustacean-esque
that.
figures with gas tanks strapped to their backs. One of the diminutive aliens spots him and cries out in alarm. A crimson armored officer roars.
Oh, you can talk to me
and
while I'm
points his plasma
drawing.
pistol towards him before
Okay,
starting to
okay.
fire.
Just want to make sure I
Green and
don't
blue
like
bolts of energy
overstimulate you
stick
or
toward him,
anything. I
and
know I
Anakin is
have
ready.
stuff like
His
that happen
lightsaber
all
is
the
out,
time.
and he deflects a few
Yeah, it's
shots.
fair.
As he draws close, he begins cutting through them, his lightsaber easily ripping through the ranks of these aliens. All except their commander, whose shield blocks the first strike before drawing his energy sword. With a defiant roar, the two strike at each other, and the Singeli blocks the first two strikes before a third takes him in the stomach.
Who the hell are you? You know what? I don't care. Whoever you are, up to lend a hand?
Sure, but what is going on here?
Hell if I know. We barely got out of that slip space when those Covenant bastards started firing on us. My boys and I have had to abandon ship on this ring. Next thing we knew, the Covenant was swarming us.
Those words mean nothing to Anakin, as he has no idea what they mean. All he knows is there is a battle, and that is enough for him. He readies his lightsaber and leaps into the fight once again, while the Marines set up firing positions from the top of the structure. Anakin cuts through this wave of Covenant just as easily as the first, and then the next. Even the elites don't stand a chance against him, as Anakin's lightsaber cuts through their shields and armor like it's nothing. From above, Johnson stares and lets out a whistle.
I have got to get one of those swords.
Finally, by the third wave, the Covenant seems to have learned, as their dropship does not leave once it deploys its soldiers. Instead, it hovers over the battle and acts as a mobile gun platform. The underslung turret swivels around and fires torrents of superheated plasma at Anakin. He can only dodge and leap aside from these attacks, as even his lightsaber cannot deflect them. The Marines try to fire at it, but their rifles aren't enough to penetrate its shields. Suddenly, a rocket flies out from behind and strikes one of its forked top bays. The spirit spins as flames ignite from one side and sends it crashing into the ground. From the smoke, another figure emerges, standing as tall as the elites. Anakin prepares to strike at it, but the shape is all wrong. Instead, it's a humanoid, one dressed head to toe in green armor that shimmers faintly. A rocket launcher is resting over one shoulder, the barrel still smoking.
Hold your fire, hotshot. It's one of us. Chief, nice of you to join the party.
Hope I'm not too late. But who's...
General Anakin Skywalker of the Republic. I crash-landed in this place, just like you.
The Republic? I've never heard of it. What about you, Cortana?
The chief extends his hand, and a woman appears from his palm. At first, he thinks it's a hologram, but Anakin realizes it isn't a real woman. It's an AI. Anakin holds out his identification disc and allows her to scan it.
Well, this doesn't match any known UEG organization, not even known insurrectionist organizations. In fact, this location isn't anywhere near human space. It's from a galaxy far, far away.
That would explain a lot. Everything I see here, the weapons, the aliens, this place isn't like anything I've ever seen. Even this ring. I just put in these coordinates and my ship was brought here. Something was calling to me, summoning me to come here.
We can figure that out later. In the meantime, we need to pick up the remaining lifeboats and gather them.
It would be better if we didn't have to worry about these dropships. They must have a camp nearby. If we take it out, we should be able to do so much more easily.
General Skywalker has a point, and between the two of you, it shouldn't be so difficult. Judging by the location these dropships approached from, I should be able to pinpoint possible maps. Calling a Pelican now to take us there.
Soon enough, Echo 519 appears from the clouds to gather survivors. Johnson volunteers to join them, eager to see what the two of them can do. They follow Cortana's coordinates, and just as she predicts, there's a staging area nearby. The camp is hastily constructed, with a few Banshees docked and a Spirit dropship. Fohammer provides covering fire with the Pelican's machine guns, while Anakin, Master Chief, and Johnson's Marines follow after. The Jedi takes lead, deflecting plasma fire with his lightsaber while the Spartan is close behind, picking off high-value targets with his assault rifle. The Marines focus their fire on Jackal shield walls or elite officers trying to rally their grunts. As they approach the spacecraft, they begin planting charges and destroying them, all save the Spirit, which they capture. When the two are fighting together, they make a powerful team, standing back to back in the center of the camp while plasma fire buzzes all around them. Yet none of this seems to faze them as they cut through everything in their way. Finally, they stand amidst the ruins. Master Chief points to a collapsed tent and sees an enemy soldier on his motion tracker. A grunt stumbles and raises his hands.
Stop! Stop! I surrender!
Johnson aims, but Anakin raises his hand. The others give confused looks, but the Jedi seems insistent.
No, I want him alive. I want to know everything.
You might not get much from this guy. I doubt their commander tells their foot soldiers much.
I still want to try.
The others don't protest and allow him to gather any survivors. The grunt with them identifies himself as 𝙂𝙚, an Ungoi officer serving within the Covenant military. They were all loaded up into the Spirit and brought back to the human position on Alpha Base. Thanks to Master Chief and Anakin's efforts, they can rescue all the crewmen and secure this position, so they are welcomed when they return. Anakin in particular makes for a strange sight to the gathered Marines. They mutter to each other, wondering if he's some sort of next-generation Spartan, as rumors swirl of how he moved down the first Covenant soldiers without breaking a sweat. When he makes his way to the command center, he finds Major Silva waiting for him. The ODST officer narrows his eyes and stares at him. He remains suspicious of his unusual arrival and asks to know how Anakin got here. The Jedi raises an eyebrow, but begins explaining everything and how he got here. He says that he was called here by the Force, and his starfighter approached too close and burned up in the atmosphere. As he describes where he's from, the man's suspicion only grows, but Cortana backs up his claims and shows the information she's gathered from scanning his data disk. Finally, the ODST takes a deep breath and shakes his head.
All right then. If you had just told me this back on Reach, I would have had you sent to the psych ward. Hell, I still don't fully believe it now. But the Covenant seems to hate you as much as they hate us, so that means I'll at least give you the benefit of the doubt. So, General Skywalker, what exactly do you plan on doing here? I was planning on figuring out what's so important about this place, but it seems like there are bigger fish to fry. You can say that again. You're free to stick around here. Maybe I will.
What's going
But
on,
first,
buddy?
I might want to talk to the prisoners we've captured. These Covenants seem to know more about the ring than we do. You can try, but I don't even know why you'd bother. You'll have more luck trying to talk to a brick wall. I'll be the judge of that, Major.
The ODST raises an eyebrow but doesn't oppose him. He gestures for Anakin to continue, who makes his way over to the courtyard, where a group of grunts is huddled together in a cell. The guards step aside for him, and Anakin steps inside. He hands his lightsaber towards the Marines and looks over at them. Behind him, Master Chief and Johnson watch the exchange as Anakin begins to question them about why they are here. Then one of the grunts steps forward. It is the same one who had earlier surrendered to Anakin and dipped his head. To his surprise, Anakin offers a smile. Although the humans might have just seen them as other enemies, Anakin sees something else. He saw how they operated in the battle earlier. They are nervous and scared, but not of him. They were scared of their own officers. It is the type of fear that does not come simply from a military, but from indentured servitude. It's the fear that he's seen countless times in places like Tatooine, Sigiria, and Nalhutta.
What is your role?
Yap, my lord.
No need for my lords here, little one. Anakin will do. I do wish for answers. What is this ring, and why is it so important? I doubt these little freaks will know much, General.
Sacred rings.
Come again? What do you mean, sacred rings?
Rings are meant to bring the great journey, Anakin. To activate it is to summon the gods and open a path for all believers.
Anakin leans closer, and even Johnson knits his brows together. Even with his armor, the chief's own interest grows, and they look over. Slowly, he begins talking to the grunt, who reveals everything piece by piece. He explains that the rings were left over by the gods, and that the Covenant has been searching for them for almost 1,000 years. They initially left these so that their followers may repeat this cycle, known as the Great Journey. But that isn't all 𝙂𝙚 says. He also explains how the grunts were incorporated into the Covenant. Although a collection of different alien races, they are not treated equally, with the grunts being relegated to the lowest portions of their society. In effect, they are barely citizens and practically slaves. Although many of the grunts do believe in the Great Journey, others are only fighting because their overlords made them. Even 𝙂𝙬𝙗 only saved himself by stumbling upon an injured elite and dragging him back to the ship so that they could use him as an excuse to escape. When Anakin hears this, the grunts and humans watch as his fingers curl into fists and his face darkens, as if thinking of something else. Eventually, he stands up and offers a simple nod, but then asks if 𝙂𝙬𝙗 wants something more.
I want to return home and be free. I never wanted to serve in the military, but the elites made us.
Then what if I told you that I can free all of you? But you'll need to fight alongside me, and trust me.
When the other prisoners hear this, they begin to laugh. The elites, jackals, and a few of the brutes that the Covenant brought to the Halo ring all cackle and shake their heads. They shout curses, calling Anakin a foolish human. But then he smiles and steps back. Slowly he begins to raise his hands and draws upon the Force. Even in this strange place, he feels the power coursing around him, offering its strength as it does in his galaxy. Then he unleashes it. He directs his power towards the heaviest thing he can find. Ammunitions crates, salvaged communication equipment, and a pair of warthogs were parked nearby. And then he reaches out to them. The Force strains against what Anakin is doing, but he continues to pour power into it. Around him, the ground rumbles faintly as he lifts up these items, raising them a few inches off the ground. The rest of the camp, human and Covenant alike, can only marvel at what they see. They linger for a moment, but for long enough that all of them get a clear view of what is happening to know that this is no illusion. Finally, Anakin drops them to the ground.
I am no mere human. I'm far more powerful than you can ever imagine.
He turns and heads back to the command center, asking for permission to organize a mission to try and sow chaos in the Covenant's ranks. The Major watches all of this and can barely believe it himself. He approves this mission, as they are also planning to launch a rescue of Captain Keyes from a damaged Covenant ship, so he agrees to coordinate this with Anakin's plan. While Master Chief heads to the Truth and Reconciliation, Anakin
I'm not
and
weird
Johnson
if I
move to
found-
nearby Covenant facilities that their scouts have identified. There,
I'm not
Anakin
weird if I found your
attacks
burp
in the dead
cute,
of night.
right?
Instead of some
No.
clever strategy, he simply marches into these encampments after having the Marines disable their turrets with rockets. Once he's inside, the Jedi begins to cut down anyone who stands in his way, his lightsaber whirling around him like an arc of deadly light. He rushes through the camp and throws himself into the thick of the fighting, but his lightsaber is only the beginning. The Covenant watches as Anakin lifts his hands yet again and lets all hell break loose. Weapons are pulled from their hands, warriors are thrown aside by an invisible force, heavy weapons are lifted from the ground and smashed, and fuel cells are ignited. This throws the camp into a panic, and many begin to flee outside where the Marines are waiting to ambush them. But amidst the chaos, he raises his voice.
To all slaves of the Covenant, the time has come to free yourselves. Throw off your chains and rise up. Know that I am fighting by your side.
While the elites bark orders and the jackals try to reform their lines, the grunts stop and stare. They listen to those words, and they see Anakin single-handedly devastating the warriors who enslaved them. Like their elite masters, they recall the Forerunner texts of how their gods were capable of incredible feats that defy all laws of nature, just as Anakin does now. Then 𝙂𝙬𝙗 follows after, shouting for the grunts to join them. Suddenly, one panicked miner grabs a pistol and shoots his commanding officer before his shield recharges. Seeing this, the others begin to follow. Laborers seize their digging tools and strike at their overseers. In minutes, the camp is fighting against each other as grunts and a few jackals join in the chaos. Before long, the UNSC and their newfound allies have secured the camp. Meanwhile, Anakin loots the commander's tent, while 𝙂𝙬𝙗 gives him advice about the Covenant. He grabs anything valuable and throws it onto the ground at some jackals' feet, telling them that these riches and more shall be theirs if they join him. Soon, over 100 former Covenant warriors throw their weapons aside, but Anakin isn't done. He continues moving from camp to camp, gathering more allies. Soon, word reaches these different places, and the Covenant tries to stop him, but this does not go well for them. It doesn't matter if they are elite warriors, nothing gets in their way. When a group of jackal snipers tries to take him out, Anakin intercepts these attacks and directs their beam rifles back towards them. When a zealot tries to duel him, Anakin cuts him down with a single strike. Even a pair of hunters block his path and levels their weapons. Heavy globs of plasma fire rain down on him, leaving the ground he was standing on painted green with residual plasma, but Anakin is already moving, his lightsaber flashing. He cuts one of the hunter's plasma cannons apart and sends it tumbling with the Force. When the other blocks his strike with his shield, Anakin instead extends his hand and begins to reach into the hunter's Lagolo worms. The tight formation that they have built to create this body begins to shudder as Anakin vibrates them and begins to break them apart. The entire beast trembles and tries to move, managing a shaky step forward. But then it bursts into 100 writhing worms on the ground. The hunter manages to climb to its feet and rushes at Anakin, but the Jedi hurls his lightsaber and severs its head. It continues to trudge on for a few more feet before collapsing to the ground and slumping over. By the time dawn breaks, several camps have erupted into open rebellion, some without even having Anakin visit them. All of this is because of his growing legend amongst the Covenant. Though he might appear human, the panicked transmissions only inspire fear and speculation from both grunts and elite commanders. They mutter that he might be a new form of demon. Others say that he is some ancient protector or boogeyman of this place, a presence aimed at challenging them and seeing if they are worthy of joining the Forerunners. And others whisper that Anakin might be a Forerunner himself. He controls power far beyond what the Covenant can understand. That is a sign that he is the last of the gods, a herald meant to punish them. At least, that is what many of the grunts say to each other. They don't just see the destruction he caused. They also see the words he's said through their communications, the ones urging the lowest castes to rise up and punish their rulers for mistreating them. Perhaps he says them in order to correct the Covenant and to bring them to justice. By dawn, hundreds of grunts are rising up in rebellion, forcing the Covenant High Command to direct their forces to handle this, and pulling them away from the campaign against the humans. This prevents them from directing their full attention to the raid on the Truth and Reconciliation, allowing Master Chief to infiltrate the battlecruiser and rescue Captain Keyes. Anakin returns by daybreak, accompanied by close to 1,000 new soldiers. Defecting grunts, rebellious 𝙂𝙬𝙖𝙀, and a handful of devoted elites and brutes who are now convinced he is some sort of god of war. The rest of the human forces are stunned to see this, and many of these rebels want to wipe them out. Anakin will have none of it. He threatens the rebellious members. This helps keep his people in line. The humans are equally displeased with this, and Silva questions trusting the Covenant soldiers who had helped massacre his people. Even the Master Chief is skeptical.
They fought against us for almost 30 years. Can they really be trusted? Especially with how quickly they defected.
Most of them were slaves, and were probably told to do this or face the same fate. I know you have your misgivings, and I understand them. But they at least need to be given a chance to prove themselves. Besides, it's not like we can survive on our own. The Covenant outnumber us 20 to 1. You said it yourself. We need as many soldiers as we can get.
It isn't just a numbers game, General. You know that. It's about the type of soldiers you're putting on the battlefield, and I'm not sure about these ones.
They rebelled against their masters. There isn't any going back to them. If you're worried about them betraying you, then keep that in mind. They have nowhere else to go.
Nor do we want to. The Covenant used us as cannon fodder. The grunts are slaves to them, even when they talk about how the Great Journey makes us all equal. If we are equal, then we are never the same, and I would rather serve someone who values our lives.
Johnson is willing to give this a try, but the deciding vote is Captain Keyes. He closes his eyes and considers for a moment, and then he agrees to send a contingent with him to help secure a Covenant weapons cache for one of their prisoners. This would further hamper Covenant supply lines and help arm their new rebels. Anakin decides to lead these troops, and the two head to the nearby swamp with Johnson's fire team and a large contingent of grunts and jackals. The swamp takes its time letting them through. Anakin walks point as his troops fan out around him, watching as they nervously shuffle forward. He has felt battle tension before, but this is something else. Even the Force seems on edge as they advance, as if they are worried what they might find. Behind him, the column moves in silence, Johnson's Marines in staggered files. 𝙂𝙬𝙖𝙀 grunts in a loose formation. The jackals fan the flanks without being asked, their instincts apparently better suited to swamp patrols than anyone gave them credit for.
I don't like the look of this either. Think our prisoner friend might have been lying about this weapon cache? An ambush, maybe. It's only an ambush if we fall for it. If we don't, then it's a face-off. But we should take precautions. Agreed. Your troops seem better suited for swamp terrain. Have them sweep the area and try to flush the Covenant out if they're waiting for us. The rest of us will head inside and see if there's anything worth taking.
As the captain and Johnson lead their Marines deeper into the nearby facility, Anakin and his troops fan out and begin searching for the enemy. They find small patrols of Covenant soldiers wandering through the muck. These are easy to remove, but that is precisely why something feels off. For an ambush, there aren't enough troops. For a second, he wonders if it is really just some weapons cache, but he dismisses it. His instincts tell him otherwise. Worse, the Force tells him otherwise, and then his communicator clicks to life. However, there isn't a single voice that answers. It is a multitude of panicked cries mixed with gunfire that crackle. They shout that they've engaged the enemy, but it isn't the Covenant. They have no idea what it is, and they are reacting. All of them. Anakin's lightsaber is in his hand
It's
before
very
he
interesting
realizes
so
it
far.
as
I
he
did not
rushes toward
expect
the nearest
the
entrance.
grunts
The
to
shape moving toward him should be human,
Mm.
whereas their armor
be that
carries their
involved.
weapons, but its body
Yeah.
is twisted and its limbs pushed and reorganized into horror that barely even looks human. Then its head, which is now halfway over its back, opens and lets out a shriek, its claws lunging forward. He cuts it in half at the waist. 2 more come through the door, then a dozen. The door seems to breathe them out. The lightsaber is the right instrument for this. He drives it through the first wave with particular focused brutality. Behind him, the grunts open fire. Plasma bolts streak past his shoulders and melt the flesh easily as living foes. The jackals snap into a shield wall without being ordered, while snipers pick off stronger forms. Marines move somewhere to his left, and he can track the sergeant by the sound of their rifles and the steady stream of creative profanity. A tendril catches Anakin across the ribs, and he's airborne for a full second before the hillside stops him. He hits hard enough that the stone cracks under the impact. The combat form
damn it.
lunges at him, but a plasma grenade by 𝙂𝙗 sticks the creature and blows it up before it can reach him. As the wave is beaten back, Anakin rises to his feet and grips his lightsaber. He shouts for his troops to follow him and to try to rescue whatever they can. What follows is 2 hours that he will not remember cleanly. He goes into the facility after the Marines because he can hear voices still alive in the dark, and he can't bring himself to leave them. He finds a pair standing back to back with a pair of jackals, making their last stand. He finds another huddled into a corner and firing his pistol wildly. And he finds a loud-mouthed Australian Marine leading a group of survivors and claiming he saw Johnson managing to escape. The flood presses in from 3 directions simultaneously and grows heavier with every exchange that cannot be demoralized or exhausted or made to doubt. He drives another wave back with a force push that dents the corridor wall and throws 6 forms into the dark. His hands are shaking. He closes them tighter around the lightsaber hilt and tells himself it's adrenaline, because the alternative is that he's reaching the bottom of what he has to give, and there is nothing below that. They somehow manage to find an elevator that takes them through a different exit. Anakin turns with 𝙂𝙗 as dozens of infected forms climb after them. They're joined by one of the Marines, the Australian from earlier. Finally, Chip's Dubbo picks up a pair of grenades from his belt and throws them into the elevator, sending it crashing down and taking a dozen flood forms with it.
Man, I'm glad we saved that guy.
Still, it is a temporary measure as the 3 rush off to join the others, where the flood is already trying to swarm them. But then, something else moves in the mist. One moment it's flood forms wall to wall, then there is a figure in green armor moving through them from the far end, unhurried, terrifyingly efficient, a rocket launcher discarded, replaced by a shotgun, then traded for a dead elite's energy sword, used until the weapon loses power. The flood peels back from him as they almost seem afraid. Master Chief steps over the dead and salutes. Anakin hurls his lightsaber, sending it flying behind him and striking at one flood form trying to rise.
We have a Pelican inbound. Someone needs to cover the rear while the survivors load. I'll leave that conversation to the 2 of you.
Flip a coin, or rock, paper, scissors.
Anakin readies his lightsaber and then sends 4 combat forms flying with a force push. He begins to lay into them with his lightsaber. Chief watches for a moment, then unslings his rifle, following after.
Show off.
Anakin takes the left, the Chief takes the right, letting grenades light up the battlefields to know where the flood are. The 2 stand back to back, sometimes using the Chief's shields for protection, then swapping to the offensive powers of Anakin's force. They only give ground when the weight of the flood becomes overwhelming. 𝙂𝙗 sends reports, first on reaching the structure, then how they are loading up. Once that comes in, the 2 break off and prepare to run. They are 10 meters from the landing zone when the light comes. It fills the forest, and a small mechanical sphere with a single luminous eye appears regarding them.
Oh my, reclaimers, and powerful ones. How extraordinary. Your natural configuration is quite unlike anything in my records. How long have you been spacefaring?
Long enough.
Marvelous. I require your assistance due to this infestation. I do apologize for the presumption, but time is, as it has always been, rather short.
The light intensifies and the swamp folds away, and the library opens around them. It is a cavernous structure that spreads as far as the eye can see, and it is filled with the flood. Thankfully, they are not alone this time, as 343 deploys his sentinels to assist them. They float over the hallway, firing concentrated beams of plasma at these infected creatures, while the pair sprint their way. If the swamp was a series of blurry firefights, then the library is a grinding battle of attrition. The pair do not stop and continue to press deeper, their weapons firing non-stop as they force their way forward, not trusting themselves to slow down and get bogged. Half the time, they do not even know where they're going and simply follow the cheerful voice of the monitor.
Get some
The
water.
index is a crystalline spike pulled from the central
Okay, stay
terminal,
hydrated.
smaller than Anakin expected and cold against his palm, but he feels its power in his hands.
It's a spring.
He
It's a
thinks
spring
about
weather.
Yap
It
and the grunt
dehydrates
foot
me even
soldiers who
faster.
spent their whole lives being told this ring was a doorway
It's always
to
been like
godhood.
this since I was a child.
How this thing must be some sort of sacred icon, but Chief tells them the truth.
I hate it
There
when
is nothing
drinks
but
do
destruction.
that.
With the index, they now have the chance to use the weapon, but first they must secure the control room. He passes the index to the Chief.
I made a promise to these grunts. I promised to protect them. I'll work with the Marines, buy you the time needed at Alpha Base, and then we'll get the transport off this ring.
The plan the surviving humans form is to capture the Truth and Reconciliation, which is now nearly repaired and still on the surface. Their knowledge, gleaned from their previous incursions, will help them launch a strike on it. Anakin agrees and offers to join the attack. When he returns to Alpha Base, he finds many of the grunts still loyal to him and ready to join. He has them take over the captured Banshees and lead the operations to clear the skies. As they do, they see just how good a pilot Anakin is. He zips through the air, blowing half a dozen Banshees out of the sky just as a trio of Pelicans begins boarding through the hangar. Anakin follows, landing beside them and igniting his lightsaber. He leads the push through the secondary hangar, 𝙂𝙖𝙗𝙗's grunts moving in tight formation behind him, and the jackals spreading wide to catch anything that tries to flank. Whenever they find a fortified position, one fanatic grunt ignites a pair of plasma grenades and throws himself upon it. The Marines hold the center, forming a phalanx of men that mows down anything in their way. They soon secure most of the ship, but there is still remaining pockets of resistance, not just from the Covenant, but also the Flood, which remains hidden in isolated corners and hidden crevices, sometimes disappearing into maintenance tunnels and pipes. Anakin cuts through them whenever he finds them, but they're slippery. And the ODST estimate that a fifth of the ship is still not fully secure once they capture the bridge. Major Silva is already on the bridge when Anakin arrives, studying the ring's surface below. He turns when Anakin enters.
General Skywalker, excellent timing. I'm ordering the crew to prepare for immediate departure. We haven't cleared the lower decks. Your lieutenant told you she's already sending men with flamethrowers, but it'll take time.
Exactly. Time. We don't have time.
We've cleared enough. Major, the ship is operational. We have wounded, we have survivors, and the Covenant won't just be sitting and waiting while this happens. The Flood can't be allowed to leave this ring. You saw what they can do.
That's why we need to take them back with us.
We need to bring some samples so our techs can study them. Jenkins should be enough. He can be trusted, but the rest need to be destroyed altogether. Lock it down.
General, you've been a great help to us, and when we get to Earth, I'm going to make sure you get the hero's welcome you deserve, and the UNSC will help get you home.
But you're not in charge here. Neither are you.
It takes a moment for anyone to react. Then 𝙂𝙖𝙗's voice rises from the corridor in a string of rapid clicks and whistles, and the sound of heavy boots on deck plating follows. Not Johnson's Marines, but the heavy crash of Hunters, a pair of Bond brothers who had joined Anakin. They are followed by teams of grunts and jackals, moving to seal the corridor junctions on either side of the bridge. Silva's ODSTs take aim, but freeze when the rebels are joined by fellow Marines, led by Silva's own lieutenant.
What is the meaning of this?
Sorry, Major, but we've seen what the Flood can do. Ain't no way we're letting those buggers off the ring.
Finally, a Marine comes out of the side corridor, and every human in the room tenses when they see him. His body is twisted and mangled by the Flood, but his mind is still his. And it was he who urged Anakin to act. He came to Anakin an hour ago in the lower decks and pointed out the surviving Flood forms.
If we lift off with Flood forms aboard, we carry them to wherever we land. Every person this ship reaches becomes a potential host. You know this, Major. You're choosing not to. You will halt this ship.
What Anakin doesn't tell them is that this is the Force, too. It reaches into the ODST's minds, influencing them.
I will halt the ship. Stand down.
The Major is detained in his quarters while his lieutenant takes command of clearing the ship of the Flood. 𝙂𝙖𝙗 and Jenkins help him sniff out the Flood and where they might hide while Anakin tries to communicate with Cortana to figure out where they are. He soon gets an answer. They're in the Pillar of Autumn, aiming to destroy the ship and bring the ring down with it. Anakin is already moving. He takes a Banshee from the secondary hangar and takes off. Behind him, Echo 419 is moving close behind. Anakin serves as an escort while they jet towards the Chief's position. The Banshee sensors are better off at close range than the Pelicans, and he can see the bandits forming up along the approaching corridor, a half-dozen Covenant loyalists who never got the message about which way this war was going. He rolls the Banshee into a cluster at full thrust and comes through the other side, shredding plasma fire and the two surviving bandits that follow him in the turn just as Anakin does a loop and comes up behind them, plasma cannons blazing. As the last of them disappear into the ground below, Anakin turns his attention to the bridge, which is lit up by muzzle flashes and the concentrated beams from the Sentinels. His weapons roar to life and blow up the two Sentinels outside the bridge. However, 343 Guilty Spark sees this and turns its beams, unleashing another concentrated burst of energy that shatters his wing. Anakin lands the Banshee badly and ejects the last second before it flattens itself against the hull. He leaps up and lands inside just as Master Chief takes down the remaining Sentinels. The Spartan barely even reacts to him, offering only a nod. He moves over and begins to stand back to back with him as they open fire and finish off anything that comes through them. Sentinels in flood forms emerge from the bridge or hallways. Anakin moves forward and cuts through them, following the sound of sustained weapon fire. The Master Chief is in the center of the bridge, firing until his rifle sputters into a halt.
Maybe
He drops it
I
and
mean,
fires his pistol until Guilty Spark emerges. The monitor floats above the fight. He deflects
I'm
two
gonna
of the
finish
Chief's
this-
shots without
I'm
even
gonna
slowing
finish this
down
video
and
with
fires
you,
upon them.
and then I'm
Anakin
probably
tries to
gonna
raise
go
his
to bed.
lightsaber, redirecting the beam across the bridge and leaving a smoking
I
scar in
might
its
not
wake.
work
When the
tomorrow. I
monitor
can't make any
directs his fire upon
promises.
Master Chief, it drains his
Fair,
shield in a matter of
But we
seconds.
could
He
we
would
could
drain
have
it
some
further if Anakin didn't
alone
rip off the
time.
computer console from the wall
Once
and hurl it
if
at
I'm
Absolutely.
not
The
working
monitor
and
dodges
at
it,
worst
feeling the
we
console brazen
we
and
hang
knocking
out
off balance.
Sunday. I definitely am not
Master Chief
working
takes this
Sunday.
chance and rolls a pair of grenades underneath him. The explosion
Yeah.
causes the monitor to sputter around, but neither
I
allows him to
take
recover.
I've been
Anakin swings his
so
weapon, whirling
locked
around and
into
trying
this
to
video
slash at him. Guilty
and
Spark
playing
flies around, barely
aim
avoiding
labs,
the
well,
strike,
quote unquote
then
playing,
retreating back to the open
Ooh.
air of the
using aim
bridge
labs
and leaving.
because
The
I
bridge
need
goes
to
quiet, except for the sound of
playing
the
the
ship dying
games
around
that
them.
require
Anakin and the
aim,
Chief
and
look
I
at each
want the
other
aim,
across
but I
the
don't want to
wreckage.
feel. I
Thanks
don't
for
want
the
to play the
save.
actual
You
game.
have about 15 minutes.
I hope
Fair,
you have a
fair.
way out.
Don't worry. I think I might have found something. Take the elevator downstairs.
The Warthog is not a comfortable vehicle for a retreat. Anakin learns this in the first 10 seconds, braced in the gunner's position while Chief drives through the crumbling ruins of the ship. The Pillar of Autumn tears itself apart around them, bulkheads falling, gravity fluctuating, the floor occasionally becoming theoretical. But at no point does the Chief slow down and consider their options. Meanwhile, all Anakin can do is scream and fire the gun at approaching Sentinels. But as they draw near, shadows flash overhead, and strange shapes pounce on them. 𝙂𝙚𝙖𝙚, but coated in flood biomass. As they destroy the trio of Sentinels, the lead bugger shrieks and flies towards them.
They fly now?
They fly now?
They fly now. He guns the Warthog forward and makes a sharp turn, nearly losing them. But the three manage to follow after them, their tendrils extended. Anakin has his lightsaber out and swings left, cutting down the first, and then taking the second in the backswing. The third flies over and pins him down. Its ruined mouth opens in a spray of spittle and gore, but before it can bite down, its head explodes in a shower of gunk as its body falls apart. Master Chief leans over from the driver's seat, a smoking pistol in his hand. Flood forms come out of the side corridors. Anakin handles them, using the chain gun on the Warthog, or using the Force to throw them back. A section of the ceiling comes down ahead of them, and the Chief hits the accelerator rather than the brake, and they go through it. The landing bay opens ahead, and light from Fohammer's Pelican greets them. The Warthog hits the ramp at a speed that leaves even Cortana scrambling to check their odds of survival. Anakin is already moving before they stop. He launches himself off the Warthog and throws himself onto the troop bay. He follows by lifting Master Chief with the Force and pulling him inside. The bay doors shut behind them and take off. The detonation comes as a light first, a bloom that fills the Pelican's rear window and turns everything white for a moment, and then the wave front hits. When the light fades, the ring is coming apart in slow sections. The Chief and Anakin sit atop the troop bay, not saying anything. Cortana runs her damage assessments. The Chief counts his remaining grenades, and Anakin heads to the cockpit.
Anyone out there? This is Echo 419, broadcasting on all UNSC frequencies. We have survivors, requesting pickup.
Static. The ring's debris field makes it worse. Then, underneath the static, a response.
General, you're alive! I knew it!
Bloody hell. For a couple of bricks, you flew pretty good.
Thank God you fellas are alive. Couple more minutes and the Sarge and I would have hopped onto a Banshee to come looking for you.
Through the forward window, emerging from the debris in the dying light, is the Truth and Reconciliation, its hull bearing the marks of everything the last few days have put her through, but intact. Her docking bay opens for them. Through the canopy, you can see the Alpha Base survivors already loading into transports. The ODST wounded, the Marines, the defecting Covenant who fought beside them are waiting. They gather around the Pelican and cheer them on. Even the grunts chant and hop foot to foot as the bay doors open and the pair steps out.
General, we are awaiting your orders.
Cortana, take us home. Everyone else, grab a bunk. We have a long way to go.
That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting...
Ooh. So like
Yeah.
Anakin spends the rest of his days with UNSC.
He got isekai'd into Halo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my god. Do you think he'd ever want to go back eventually? Or like find a way back?
Eventually, I suppose. All right.
What's wrong?
Here we are. As an artist, whenever I'm drawing, I try not to break the. I try not to break the line. In taught in early
I
art
see.
classes.
So the term "break the line," I'm not very artistically inclined.
Basically, it'll make your line art look all janky.
Yeah, is that like just crossing the lines?
Oh, that's in terms of coloring. In the actual like line art, like making, like 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 drawing over the outer lines of your sketch, and over the outer detail, the outer lines of each detail of your sketch. Try not to break the line, or else pretty much your line art will look just like your sketch art, but darker. Like basically your line art will look like your sketch draft but darker. It's like I try to go for a clean slate and clean look.
I see.
All right. Yeah. Like for me, I'm trying to get the shadows just right.
Yeah. I like that the shoes have a little. Is that supposed to be?
Pretty much.
ribbon?
Velcro shoes. It's more of a homage to my childhood Velcro shoes.
I see.
Yeah, I also put little bows on shoes.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the artistic skill to make roses yet.
Roses be very cute.
Yeah, but they're very difficult to actually make.
Yeah, they do. You probably have different layers you have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Some complexity there.
I'm already dealing with many layers over here.
I could maybe draw. I don't know.
Fair. Mm-hmm. I pretty much. Okay, in terms of like my entire life, I've been drawing since I was 3 years old. Pretty much I had pretty much a obsession with drawing.
Yeah.
I mean, like it got to the point that I got pretty much so when I was like in the IEP program for developmental disabilities, pretty much I had this like a behavior chart that pretty much like scores from 0 to 2. Pretty much I got
Right.
marks against me for drawing for drawing either in the corner of the sheet or on the back of the sheet.
Oh, I see. I see.
And that was mostly when I was already done with my work.
Right.
So yeah. All right. I like the I kind of like the shadow work for the shoes. Maybe I could do better shadow work for these shoes here.
Honestly, the points against the drawing on the sheets is a little bit. I don't know. How many points would it usually be? Like one, or could it?
Usually just 1 or 2 points per class.
And these just went towards your behavior,
Yeah.
like.
So pretty much,
I don't know.
like this drawing was my form of stimming. It still is. Still is in a way.
No, that's fair.
Okay,
Stimming is always important.
I can. Should lines make more sense? Oh yeah, as a digital artist, we have the issue of drawing on the wrong layer. It's like say like for I say for traditional art it's equivalent to drawing a wrong line and then you just have to deal with it. But digital art you have the luxury of Control Z or undoing.
I can imagine the undo button is a lifesaver.
It is.
Stories and possibilities, and we love it.
I want to see some of your other art sometime.
What was it again?
I want to see some of your other art sometime.
Well, most of my art is public, either on my Twitter and Blue Sky, or on my streams.
Oh, I see.
I'm
gonna have to take that a look. Give that a look.
Yeah, and I've been trying to improve on my art.
Yeah.
In Manatee County, Florida, where a surveillance camera catches the terrifying moment a deputy is hit head-on by a suspected drunk driver. Let's rewind and join the deputy, who officials said was on routine patrol when his world was
The
turned
video made it look like
upside
he
down.
almost exploded.
Officials said a wrong-way driver smashed head-on into a deputy's vehicle as he was attempting to turn into the sheriff's office operations center, prompting a quick response to the crash.
In front of ops. Holy f***. Hey! Hold the f***ing door! Hold the door! Holy f***. We got you, we got you, we got you, we got you. We got you. We got you, you alright? Yeah. Somebody check on the other driver! Hey, it's Davis is involved. We have him extracted from the vehicle. I need EMS, 2 ambulances to our location. Breathe back, breathe. Hey, what hurts? He's got a quick release. Yeah, I got him. Hey. Face hurts. Get any injuries anywhere else? Any other pain? Somebody get light on me, please. Hit me head on. Yeah, we're dealing with it. Look at me. You got any trouble breathing?
Hey, babe.
No.
Stay here, wait for your mess.
I think I'm gonna have to
relax, okay?
go to bed now.
Make sure you get lots of sleep, alright?
We got 2 ambulances
I
coming.
will.
Do we got
Love
somebody checking on the
you.
vehicle?
Yep, they're getting him out.
Mwah.
Deputy Davis.
Somebody check on the other driver! Hey, it's Davis.
Meow. Good girl.
I'll text you tomorrow whether or
Okay.
not
Open the door.
I'm at work.
Alright.
Either tomorrow or Sunday we could probably like watch a movie or
Tree.
Hey,
I
Miller,
don't
give me that
know.
Halligan over here.
Let's see what we do.
Yeah.
Love you.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye, chat.
Pop it open. Watch out. Back
I'll be
up.
seeing you later, Patty.
Pop it, hands pull out.
Meow.
Davis is on that side with them.
I can pop this open. I mean, I can bust the window out.
What about this side on this side first?
Back up.
Get out of the car. That's what he wants you to do.
You guys fired me.
What?
You guys fired me.
I don't care about that, bro.
I'm here.
Where's the handle?
That's right here.
Can you help me out?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Probably one more.
Step out. Let's step out. Come on. Turn around.
Yep.
Turn around for me.
What?
Just turn around for me. Do me a favor and turn around for a sec.
I'm good.
You're not. Turn around.
No.
Deputies identify the other driver as 47-year-old William Eric Thomas, who officials said showed signs of impairment, including a strong odor of alcohol.
Stop.
Turn around.
Stop pulling.
Turn around.
Turn around.
All right. I'm not.
Turn around.
Is he saying one? Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm not resisting.
No, you're drunk.
I'll handle it.
I am not resisting.
He's got a head wound. Just so you
That's
know.
fine.
I am not resisting. I am not resisting.
Yes, sir.
You can get me any way you want.
Let's go. Walk.
When?
My car that way.
Okay. Listen.
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and start moving the car. Yep.
Just wait to the left. My car's underneath you.
Listen, I am not.
Going straight back here.
I am not.
All right, I got you.
Sir?
I am not.
Have you had a couple drinks tonight?
No.
No? Why do you smell like alcohol, sir? Can you explain that?
I explain what?
Why do you smell like alcohol
Hang on,
coming
I
from your
lost
breath,
my
sir?
shoe. I lost my
Don't worry about it. We'll get it back.
What?
Answer my
I'll go
question,
get your
sir.
shoe.
Answer your question.
Yes, have you had any drinks tonight?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, well, you're under arrest for DUI.
For what?
DUI, driving under the influence.
For what?
Let's go, bro. Stop overreacting.
Bro, don't.
Shut the f*** up. Let's go.
Listen.
Do you have anything in your pockets that's gonna poke, stick, or stab me?
No.
Do you have any drugs on you?
No.
Okay, lean up against my car.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can have.
Where are you coming from?
I'm coming from Bradenton.
Bradenton, where from Bradenton?
From my job.
Where's your job?
Conley.
Huh?
Conley. I'm a man. Sir. Do not deny me.
Hey, someone doesn't like that car that's on the road over here.
No, I'm sorry. Somebody pulled out in front of me.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did anybody give you my door?
You know.
Step in my car.
All right, hold on.
Step in my car, or I'm gonna shove you in my car. Got it? Step in the car.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Come on, man. Sit up. What are you doing?
Oh, I want.
Sit up.
I want.
Sit up. Let's go. Sit down. Put your feet in.
Act like a f***ing man and sit up.
I want to be you.
Okay.
Sit in the car.
Get in the car. Let's go.
Put me in the car.
322.
Get me. Get my stuff.
Sit in the car.
Sit in the car.
I'm going.
Put your knees in.
I'm going.
Stop.
Copy that AR.
Move
No.
your head. Slam it.
William is secured in a patrol car while investigators work to figure out what happened here.
Do you remember what happened?
Yeah, they crossed over the median and hit me head on.
You're not at all, man. You'll be good. Stupid question to ask now. You don't have anybody else in your truck, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
I mean, we got enough people. We can roll them onto a board if you want. I don't think he needs one.
How fast were you going when you got hit? I stopped. You were stopped? Yeah, I stopped because I saw him come over so I stopped. And I was like, oh, this is going to hit me.
As much as we don't want to do this right now, but I have to do it for the DUI aspect. Give me a quick overview of what happened.
I took a right in the light, and I'm coming down here, and I see the truck come over the median, and I pulled to the left because I was like, what the f is going on? And I got hit head on and totally flipped over.
You know what lane you were in when you saw this?
I was definitely in the left lane.
So the curb, not the curb lane, but the middle travel lane, not in the left turn lane.
I might have been going. I don't even know.
Where were you going?
I was headed to the district.
To Ops?
Yeah.
Okay. He hops the median.
He hops over the median.
Okay.
And then I was like, holy, what's going on? And I got hit head on.
Okay. Everybody over here onto the sidewalk. Let them do their job.
The deputy was taken to a hospital and treated for minor injuries, according to the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. Next, deputies start dividing responsibilities when things get a little heated.
Lieutenant, let me get one just to help them lift him. He's having his own.
Firefighters, get over here!
All right. If you witness this, go on the case number for me and do a supplement for it. All right? Matt, come here.
You want me to mute?
No, I don't care. Dude, I asked you to back up twice, okay? Back up. They're firefighters. Let them do their job. They can lift him up. When I tell you to do something, do it. I don't need you to give me suggestions about what needs to happen. I'm in the process of doing what I need to do.
Okay? You don't need, if they want help, they'd ask for it. They weren't asking for it. There's 7 of them over there. They can lift him up, okay? So I'm not in the business of being challenged in front of everybody. I'm giving you a direct action so that way I can do my job. Bottom line. I don't like yelling at people, but when I ask you to do something and you chirp back at me, I'm not doing that. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I never heard you, though.
Okay. Well, that only tells me that you're not in the moment then.
I was focused on him and I never heard you.
Right,
That's the only thing.
That means that you're not in the moment then. You're not listening to what's going on, okay? Like I said, I asked you multiple times to back up off them, let them do their job. Okay, so that means you're not listening, which is another problem. That means that you're way too focused on something and your auditory exclusion's in. That means you're in tunnel vision and you're not focusing on the totality of the circumstances. So if you're not hearing me say, hey dude, back up, let them do their job, then that's a problem.
Okay.
Okay, you gotta let them do their job. They're the medics. They're the ones that know where his head needs to be and how it needs to be positioned and what they're gonna do and everything like that. You're not that guy. You're not a medic. Okay? So the bottom line. So when I've told you twice to back up and you don't do it, and then you challenge me to help them do something that they don't need help with. This is their job. That'd be like them going to a domestic with us. Okay? It just doesn't make any sense. So please don't do that again.
I'm textbook. And that's why I would never work for him.
After some coworker drama, deputies check back in with the suspect.
Were you injured? No. Are you injured?
19794.
Where do you feel pain? Do you feel pain anywhere?
No.
Okay.
Trying to use that.
Okay. Yep, I'm 1012. I'm asking you one more time. I just want you to be honest, all right? Do you feel pain anywhere? Your head, your body, anywhere?
No.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure you.
Thank you.
All right, we got EMS here. I just want to make sure you're not.
I'm sorry.
For what?
For what?
Do you need EMS?
No.
You don't?
Okay.
He is so inebriated, he can't even think
sorry.
straight.
For what? Push your leg in. You ain't stepping out. Watch out. Oh my god, that made me want to puke.
Moments later, medics turn their attention to William.
Hey, what are we pissed off about?
Paper plate, bro.
Well, they pulled
This is
out
where I put legislation. This is where I put legislation.
Listen,
I want to be alive.
You what? You do or don't? Okay. Well, I'm here to check you out and make sure that you're okay.
My daddy died once.
Copy, $100.
I'm sorry?
Lincoln 113.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry. I am very sorry.
You what?
I'm very sorry.
That's okay. Listen, I'm here to take care of you, okay? I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to blame. We're just here to take care of you.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not taking care of the other person. I'm not taking care of the other person.
Are you?
All right, William, some of my friends are coming here, okay? We'll get you loaded into the ambulance and get you up to the hospital and get you checked out, all right?
I'm fine.
We just talked just a minute ago. You said it was okay to take you to the hospital. You hit your head. I have to ask, have you been drinking tonight? And it's not a crime. I just need to know if you've been drinking for the doctors. No drinking all tonight?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Do you have a problem?
Do I have what?
Do you have
a phone? Is that what you said? I'm sorry, say it again.
I am a mechanic.
Okay, I didn't hear what you said because there's a lot of noise. Do I have what? I'm not a mechanic. I'm a paramedic, okay? These guys are going to take care of you. They're going to take you up to the hospital, get you checked out. And watch the ground they have.
My name is Eric.
Eric?
My name is Eric.
Okay, Eric. Is that a middle name? Okay.
Who are you?
I'm Russell. I'm a paramedic with Manatee County. We're here to take you to the hospital because you're in a car accident, right?
William is his
You're in a car accident.
Thomas. William Eric Thomas.
William Eric. You got a cut on your head, so it looks like you hit your head. You're going to make sure that doesn't need stitches or anything.
Let's go.
All right, can you swing your legs around for us? We're going to help you over to the stretcher. Whatever you Okay, we got to stand up first, okay?
Just makes it easier for us.
They're gonna move the cuffs once we get you over, okay? Watch your leg here.
First of all,
Let's move this cuff.
We haven't do that.
I have license.
We're doing Palmetto freestanding because that's we're bypassing man.
Do you want me to help out? He's causing a
take
right here.
the cuffs off.
Okay.
Relax.
Leave.
All right, I'll take it off.
Okay, stay off. You guys good with us?
Come out. We're gonna take him off. You need to come out first.
Yes, sir.
Come on, step out.
Yeah, I'm coming. I'm coming.
Step out. Step out. Step out. Here, face the truck. Face the truck.
Be safe.
Face the truck. Walk over here. Walk over here.
Thank you.
What?
Thank you. Thank you.
We can just hook it to the gurney like that.
Yeah.
I put it in front so we can unlock it once we get on the gurney. Walk back, we got you. Walk back. Careful. Walk back.
While he's here, we're just gonna take it. Yep, nothing there. I probably
walk left. You're gonna sit down slowly, all right?
Just gonna grab your pants and pull them up so we don't lose them.
Sit back. Sit down.
All right, let's side scoot to your left a little.
So get back, scoot this way.
Side scoot.
Yep. Lay back.
One more scoot. One more side scoot. Okay.
Put it to the gurney now.
Can we get these off, please?
Let me talk to him real quick if I can.
Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Thomas?
Yeah.
Just real quick, I'm Lieutenant Pruitt. I'm doing the crash investigation. I'm trying to find out what happened. Can you give me an idea of what happened?
Yeah, it's a mother pulled out in front of me.
Okay. Which way were you going?
other side.
Right.
Inside of it.
Right? What do you mean right?
That way.
Were you going
not trying to grab
towards First Street or away from First Street?
What do you think?
More my
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. Your car's kind of ended up in a weird position.
Yeah, I was going that way.
You're going that way?
That's First Street, right?
That's First Street.
Yeah.
So you were coming from Bradenton, going towards First Street?
Fans.
I was going that way.
You were going that way.
I go under your arm.
Okay. Are you still living at the
The motherfucking police came and
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, were you going home?
Coming up. What vehicle is I can do
Hold on. Why am I being there?
I believe you got a brake on.
No, they're gonna go.
Listen.
We need water.
These motherfuckers.
So I just want to clarify. You're saying you were going home.
I was going home.
Going home, so you're going this way on 301 Boulevard?
Yep.
Okay. And you're saying they pulled out in front of you?
Pulled out in front of me.
Okay, well, it wasn't me. So, alright. Well, that's one conversation. Alright.
You!
Hey, where...
Pulled out in front
Okay,
of me.
well, that's what we're going to find out. I think we have video of it, too, just so you're aware.
Suck it,
Alright, can you...
nigga.
Do you want that other one secured, too?
Come on.
You want that one secured, too?
Come on. You pulled out.
You want that one secured, too? You want a handcuff on that hand, too?
You
Sure?
Hey,
Eric. Eric.
Pulled out in front of me.
They hear you, buddy. Alright.
Okay.
You got it on the steering wheel.
Okay. You.
Front end damage. Did they say he was wearing a seatbelt?
You.
He said that he was.
You.
I don't know.
Come on.
So the steering wheel.
What are you saying come on for? Like, you want to fight?
You.
Steering
Bro,
Pulled out in front of me.
it is what it is.
side of that.
Son of a bitch.
You were going home.
What? That's my fault?
I don't know. I'm trying to find that out, but you're not answering any real questions at this point.
That's the one question I want to ask.
Which direction were you going?
Airbag deployed, yeah.
West.
Where were you coming from?
Steering wheel airbag only. So, yeah, that's
Because west is not towards your house. West is going that way.
Oh, you want to get all my shit.
No, I want to understand what happened, is what I'm saying.
You pulled out in front of me.
can you grab
Okay, so your statement is that my deputy pulled out in front of you.
Yeah.
Okay. And you were going west. So you're leaving your residence and going towards Bradenton.
Oh no.
Got it from here.
Oh no. Okay, which way were you going?
Appreciate you. Now you
See this now? Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you,
Just, yep, no problem. Just the.
Were you going home? If so, where were you coming from?
You made it.
Did I?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's what you made.
Suck it. All right.
He told me he was coming from work.
All right.
What's that?
Close. Yeah.
My I think he heard you. All right.
Hey.
Are you sure you don't have that other hand?
I think those other cops.
Yeah, cuff him real quick. I got it.
I got that on my floor. Hey, wait.
Here we go.
Wait. Take a look at me.
Yes,
Wait.
sir.
Remember, I'm the one that talked to you in the car earlier. Okay.
Yes.
Do me a favor, okay?
Okay.
I realize that you're upset, but can you stay calm for me? Can you stay calm? Because my guys are going to be taking care of you, and I want to make sure that they're okay. Thank you. All right. All right. Just relax for me. They're going to take good care. Listen, I don't have anything to do with police department. I'm from EMS, okay?
It's my DUI.
Oh, that's intense.
You're DUI. You gonna get me for a DUI?
I got high on the sugar.
I love everybody.
Lungs were clear. Let's try moving the throat.
William was taken to a hospital and medically cleared before he was transported to Manatee County Jail. That's where officials said he consented to a breathalyzer test that resulted in a BAC of 0.279 and 0.268 across 2 tests. That's more than 3 times the legal limit to operate a vehicle in Florida. William was booked for DUI, causing damage to property or injury to another person.
I'm not your son.
You are not. You are not my daddy.
Are we ready to go?
Yeah. You ready?
Let me tell you something.
Going to Manatee Memorial.
All right.
Pull over if anything.
What?
Yeah, shine your lights if anything happens.
Subscribe now for easier access to the latest from Law and Crime Body Cam.
Ooh. Honestly speaking, I don't understand drunk drivers. I really don't understand them. Making sure the shadow work is okay.
Everywhere you look, you will see the headlines. Kids these days don't know how to read.
Someone who taught 3rd and 4th graders, I can confirm that the literacy crisis is a very real thing.
What does it feel like when you...
Hard. I'll get mad and sad and I just say I can't do it no more.
I'm scared. Like, I am genuinely scared.
The class divide of the future is going to be who can read and critically think and who cannot.
4th grader asked their teacher, why do I need to learn how to read if AI can read for me? Right now, 40% of 4th graders can't read. We're witnessing the collapse of the American education system.
Why is everybody illiterate now? Maybe I'm just getting old and cranky, but has anybody else noticed how everybody's pretty much becoming more and more literate, more so than they ever have been before? It's getting to a point where if I wanted to have someone write an essay for me, I'd have a better chance of hiring a caveman off of Fiverr than going to a school and asking one of the students. For example, if we look at our beloved Coco Melon kids, Gen Alpha, they are having an incredibly hard time reading. I mean, besides them literally knowing the meme that is 6'7" before they even know how to count.
6.
No, 6.
Their reading scores are lower than they have ever been. We can even look at high school and college students too, because it seems like they've kind of maxed out their literacy skill tree, because there's a lot of funky stuff going on with them too, especially with the introduction of AI and their over-reliance on it.
Me trying to do an assignment without using AI. I can't anymore.
And do you know what the common denominator between Gen Alpha and high school/college students is? It's our education system. Which that leads me to wonder if our public schools are just making kids dumber. So I want to explore these different areas of society that may have led to our current state of illiteracy, see if we can make sense of them, and see if we can figure out how this massive decline in literacy happened. First off, let's rewind to a previous video of mine where I talk about what reading used to be and what it's become. Let's talk about what reading used to be. If we were to go back to the 1870s, for example, reading was pretty much the primary way that information moved throughout society, whether it be laws, stories, or a comprehensive list of all 1,025 Pokemon species. In some form, in one way or another, it would be written down for you to read. It wasn't like US President Rutherford B. Hayes was just going to record some kind of little TikTok dance and post it for everybody to see. Writing was all they had. All of that to say is that if you wanted to be at least somewhat of a functional and effective member of society, you had to know how to read. Honestly, we could spend hours going through all the studies and talking about all the different ways that reading is beneficial for us, but that's a lot of words and I'm low on Subway Surfer clips at the moment. Basically, reading acted as a way of self-education, and if you multiply that by the majority of society,
just replay the same clip, they won't know.
A lot more. So if you were wondering why back in 1870 people didn't sell courses on how to get rich quickly through AI-generated art, that's why. People could learn how to do that on their own. So at that point, we lived in a thriving society that was filled with growth, knowledge, and critical thinking, getting to a point where 99.6% of people were literate. So obviously there's been at least a tiny little itty bitty bit of a change since the days of reading for fun. I'm pretty sure the only form of reading most kids get these days is reading YouTube titles and TikTok captions. And I know this may be controversial to say, but I don't think reading a TikTok caption from Cobby Lame is quite the same as if you read a book like Frankenstein. Maybe someone will prove me wrong on that, but I'm gonna say that with confidence. The thing is though, this massive decline in literacy didn't just happen overnight. It wasn't like little Billy invited Johnny Illiterate over for a sleepover, then the moment little Billy woke up, he didn't know how to read his Flintstone gummies packaging. It did not happen like that. This was something that happened over decades, and it happened in stages. The first moment was in the 1990s, almost immediately after our peak literacy rates. In the 1990s, we began to see the literacy rates were starting to plateau instead of improving as reading scores stopped making steady gains. I would consider the next inflection point to be in the early to mid 2000s, where we started gaining everyday access to the internet. During this point, things like forums, blogs, and overall shorter levels of reading started to rise. So reading started to move from this linear and focused activity to a more fragmented and short one. People went from reading these whole novels to reading fan fiction blogs, which I guess maybe you could argue that's where brain rot began. And I know we like to make fun of how weird the internet is now, but there was definitely a lot of really strange and really sus stuff coming out of the internet in those early days, primarily because it was pretty unmoderated. Then I would say the next major inflection point was the introduction of smartphones. I don't know if we need to talk about that too much because I think it's pretty obvious. We have short attention spans now, and that's because of how much access to information we have and how fast-paced everything is. 1 second I could be reading about World War II, then 5 seconds later I could start playing Candy Crush, and then I could follow that up by watching a bunch of book talk thirst trap videos.
Why do all the attractive men have thousands of followers? I'm trying to shoot my shot. Dang it. Brick by brick. I'm gonna miss you when I scroll.
On that topic though, there actually is a little bonus inflection point I want to add, and that would be COVID. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but basically it made us dumber. So all of those things are things that have already happened. We're already past those moments in time, but there's one more inflection point that I want to talk about, and it's one that we're currently living through, and that's the introduction of AI. But here's how AI made this literacy situation way worse. If we look at a Pew Research study from 2025, it found that the share of teens using ChatGPT for schoolwork doubled in a single year, from 13% in 2023 to 26% in 2024. Which I'm actually surprised it's even that low. It seems like I can't go and talk to a single living person, not that I talk to people who aren't living, but I can't talk to a single living person without them speaking like there's some kind of ChatGPT personification. They even speak with those little M dashes that ChatGPT is known for using. Like I literally see the little lines coming out of their mouth. It's insane. If we look at high schoolers specifically, 69% reported using ChatGPT for assignments by May 2025. And a global survey by the Digital Education Council found 86% of university students now use AI in their studies. More than half use it weekly, nearly 1 in 4 use it daily. 𝙂𝙚𝙣𝙚𝙧, which is the plagiarism detection company, and we all love those. Those are great. They never get anything wrong.
Bro, I spent hours working on this assignment. Hours. And the teacher's trying to say there's AI.
Reported that of 200 million papers reviewed, over 22 million showed signs of being at least 20% AI generated. Basically, anytime a student has to use their brain for more than 13.2 seconds, they just go ahead and outsource it to AI and they put the brain on sleep mode. Whether it be searching for information, summarizing articles, generating study guides, creating first drafts of essays, explaining difficult concepts. All of those tasks are being Amazon primed right from our brains into the mouth of ChatGPT or any other AI that you may be using. So through talking about all of those things, it seems pretty obvious to me, at least in my opinion, that there's not just one single event that caused our current state of illiteracy, but it's multiple unfortunate things stacked on top of one another that got us to where we are now. But the thing is, it seems like the people who are gonna feel this the absolute most are the kids who are currently in school, specifically Gen Alpha kids. These kids are in a critical stage of development where they're learning how to read, write, and brain rot. And with all of these points built into our society, it feels like they're getting the short end of the stick. And you know what? It's not even just the short end of the stick. It's the sharp, stinky, ugly side of the stick. So based off of all of that, here's the question that I have. How did we raise the first generation of kids who grew up fully online and now they can't read? Before we go any further, I want to address something. I know that every generation says that the next generation can't do something, or they're always dogging on the generation that comes after them. People say millennials killed cursive, they say Gen Z killed phone calls, Gen Alpha killed the ability to communicate normally without referencing some dumb trend that makes everyone's IQ lower. You know, it is what it is. But in this case, I'm not just being a boomer. Like I mentioned before with the NAEP scores, we can actually empirically see that they're getting worse at reading. And don't get me wrong, I don't have a doctorate or a PhD in looking at numbers, but this definitely does not look good. And maybe you're looking at me and you're thinking this is just a good old red-blooded American problem. Like maybe we're just too busy letting freedom ring to pick up a book and read a few words in it. Well, you'd be wrong if you thought that, because this is a global problem. The Program for International Student Assessment, or the PISA, it's a fun name, they tested 15-year-olds across dozens of countries, and they found that reading scores declined across most developed nations between 2018 and 2022. So no, this isn't just some vibes we're feeling, this isn't just some energy that's being put into the universe. This is something we can see, physically see, empirically see that is happening. Which that means at the end of the day, the question isn't if there is a literacy crisis, the question is what caused it. Here's the thing about the literacy decline that a lot of people may get wrong. It didn't start with the pandemic. I mean, sure, the pandemic made it worse, a lot worse, but the trend was already here. Reading scores have been essentially flat or declining since the early 2010s. The 2024 NAEP scores are roughly where they were in 1992. So that means in 30 years of potential progress, we actually haven't made progress. We've made regression. That's what we've done. So what changed? Well, honestly, I don't think it takes some super genius mega mind to figure out what happened. Around 2012, something shifted. And here's a little video that maybe will allude, or maybe it'll give you a little hint about what that shift was.
Today, we're introducing 3 revolutionary products of this class. The first one is a widescreen iPod with touch controls. The second is a revolutionary mobile phone. And the third is a breakthrough internet communications device. These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device. And we are calling it iPhone. And here it is.
In 2012, teen smartphone ownership crossed the 50% threshold. By 2018, it was 95%. Who would have guessed that giving kids phones and allowing them to nomadically travel across the whole wide web world internet wouldn't be a good idea? Who would have guessed that? Not me. I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have thought it was good. Maybe. I don't know. And here's where things start to get a little bit more interesting. The kids who took the 2024 NAEP reading tests, they were in kindergarten when the pandemic started. Their entire literacy foundation was built during remote learning, Zoom fatigue, and reduced instructional time. So pretty much their whole literacy foundation was built on a big, massive, heaping pile of dung. with a side of cornbread. So the pandemic didn't create the problem, but it did accelerate. It took trends that we saw that were already a little bit concerning and it compressed them into a very short amount of time. So with all of that being said, as you can see, it's not just Gen Alpha that's being affected by this, but it's also older students, older kids. And I briefly mentioned this earlier, but I want to circle back to it. And that's the common denominator between these two groups being the public education system. And I know over time our education system has been the focus of a perpetual episode of Celebrity Roast, but it's something I haven't really thought about too much until recently. But after seeing in real time the decline in literacy of so many students, it got me wondering, what was happening in our schools? I mean, it seems like kids are getting dumber, or at least not smarter. Reading scores are falling, comprehension is getting worse. Kids are struggling to do so many different things. Is it the teachers? Is it the standards? Are kids just lazy? Has AI brain rot finally overtaken the minds of our young and impressionable students? Well, that's probably true, but I'm not sure how much that has to do with everything else we're talking about. Anyways, these are the kinds of questions that I wanted to get answers to, and I wanted to see if public school actually is making kids dumber, or if it's just in my head. And in order to start answering these questions, let's start with the data that we actually have. And we've talked about this a lot on the channel recently, so I won't get mega deep into it, but it is important to add this context. The National Assessment of Educational Progress, or the NAEP, is the closest thing we have to a national objective measure of how kids are learning. It's basically a national assessment of educational progress, you could call it that. And the 2022 results were historic. They were like the Michael Jordan flu game.
3:30 this morning, Michael Jordan woke up with flu-like symptoms. He had a stomach ache and a headache, and he couldn't go back to sleep. He threw up all night.
They were like watching Pete Weber bowl.
To claim it, a strike to claim it, and he got it! Who do you think you are? I am!
They were like my puppy actually sleeping through an entire night without waking me up. It was historic. But like in the opposite direction. Reading scores for 9-year-olds dropped 5 points compared to 2020. That's the largest decline since testing began in 1990. By 2024, 40% of 4th graders were reading below basic proficiency. And that doesn't mean that they were struggling just a tiny little itty bitty bit, but they were full on below basic. That means you could hand a 9-year-old a simple passage and they could not tell you the main point of it. For 8th graders, 1/3 now score below basic. And that is the highest percentage ever recorded. So there's real and measurable data that's showing a lot of suck is going on. But then with all of that said, that begs the question. Are these declining test scores showing that students themselves are getting dumber, or is there something else going on with public schools? Well, I'm no scientist at all. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm anywhere near a scientist, but I find it highly improbable that kids have just randomly gotten way dumber over the course of a few generations. I mean, I don't think it's very likely at all that our brains just magically turned into little gremlin brains. That just doesn't seem like that would happen. But I don't know, I'm not a scientist. I don't think that would happen. That would mean that the only other option is that something's going on with our system. So what happened to our schools? If you're like me, there's a few big moments in recent history that you could point to as maybe things that messed up our whole education system. There was the 1990s plateau. Reading scores stopped improving. After decades of steady gains, the line went flat. This was the era of cable TV, early internet, the beginning of competition for attention. But even with all of that, it was manageable, and kids still read just a little bit less, like they were opening their books maybe just a little bit less. Then there was the 2010 to 2013 period. Around this time, this is when smartphones started to become extremely common. Like, I feel like you couldn't go anywhere without seeing a 2-year-old with a smartphone in their hands, probably playing Roblox or something, or messing around on the photo booth app, which was a fun app to mess around on, I'm not gonna lie. And at the same time, as kids started getting more access to smartphones, and they started, smartphoning everywhere and doing all the touchscreen stuff, whatever kids did on smartphones, something else started to decline at the same time. The percentage of 13-year-olds who read for fun almost every day was 35% in 1984. By 2012, it was 27%. By 2023, 14%. So there's a big drop there. There is a big drop of students not reading, not opening their books. Kids aren't reading Frankenstein like they used to. It's crazy.
It's alive. Oh, it's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive.
So during this time period, during the whole introduction of smartphones and all of that, this is when we really started to see a huge decline in reading and a huge increase in brain rotting, which is great. We all love a good brain rot. Then, of course, there was the pandemic. a time of remote learning and awful virtual classrooms that I don't think anybody liked, McKinsey estimated students lost 4 to 9 months of learning in math and 5 to 9 months in reading. But here's the good news. Brains are plastic, reading skills are trainable, writing improves with repetition. Nothing about anything we talked about here today is permanent, but it does require a choice. A choice to embrace difficulty even when ease is available. A choice to write the paragraph yourself when ChatGPT can spit out an essay written like a 15th century peasant to you in a second. A choice to sit with a struggle instead of PPing every chance you get. Proficiently prompting. And like I said, this is something that's a particularly big issue with students, especially younger ones, when you consider how bad their literacy rates already are, which I talk about more in this video right here, so go ahead, check that out. But other than that, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.
Yeah. Oh boy, let's start with this one.
Hello guys and gals, me 𝙂𝙚, and boy oh boy, this Epstein stuff just does not stop, ladies and gentlemen. Now, it's been a while since I've kind of covered this whole story, and you know, is there a big development that's happened, or are there more files that are released? The reality of it is, now we're at the point where we're just clearing house and pointing fingers at individuals. Now, I don't usually jump into the world of, like, you know, American, like, politics. It's only really important to me in the context of the Epstein files. Remember, it's a huge human trafficking network that is actually 100% proven, and unfortunately the reality of it is that there's a lot of co-conspirators we have no idea of, because the most powerful country in the world is actually pretty much, in my opinion, just protecting them. You know, we're not getting names, we're not getting faces. A lot of these people that have tons of money, tons of power in the world are allowed to do tons of evil shit, and I guess most of us are just supposed to sit here and I guess kind of just take it. You know what I mean? Now, what's interesting about it, ladies and gentlemen, and the reason why it's kind of a story today, is that apparently it seems like the chief, the Attorney General of the United States, basically the top cop, in this case it was Pam Bondi. Now, we basically listened to her talk and yap about these Epstein files, and you know, she had brilliant quotes like,
the Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000.
You know, when you look into her history about this topic, she started off kind of saying that, look, there's a ton of information on my desk that contains some really, really sick stuff, and we need to prosecute bad people. And it basically went into not a single prosecution, nothing. Effectively, what's happening is every other country is kind of trying to make, like, consequences stick. But it just seems like in the U.S., it ain't happening. And, you know, there's been a lot of distractions that have sort of come at us, whether they be aliens, fucking war with other countries, so on. So at this point, I'm pretty sure the U.S. government will probably announce that ghosts, the paranormal, fucking exists. You know, they're going to call up the motherfuckers at TAP. You know, the guys that make, what is that, paranormal, what is that TV show online? What is that TV show? The one where they're like plumbers by day, ghost hunters by night. They're gonna bring them and have them hunt for ghosts in the White House. That's how insane it's gotten. So yesterday, good old the president was like, Pam Bondi is a great patriot, loyal friend who faithfully served as my attorney general over the past year. She did a tremendous job overseeing a massive crackdown in crime across the country, murders plummeting to their lowest level since 1900. We love Pam. She'll be transitioning to a much needed and important new job in the private sector. Now, I'm sure she'll probably make a lot of money over there, but I don't know, she's kind of already cooked that career. Now, what's replacing her is a guy called Todd Blanche, who is also just as bad, if not worse, when it comes to prosecuting people that may have been connected to Epstein. And I say may have been because really it's up to the DOJ to do their job, but if the Department of Justice isn't doing anything, then fuck it. Nothing's basically gonna happen, boys. It is what it is. You know, it's wild too. I actually doubt the fact that she got kicked out on good graces, because apparently this was a photograph that was, you know, captured by the media. Apparently her portrait was thrown into the fucking trash. I think before she even stepped out of the actual office. Crazy shit, dude. Now, there's been a lot of speculation, too. What's really interesting is, for anybody that doesn't know, the Epstein stuff is not stopping. There's an entire committee in the White House that's like, no. come over here. We got to have more talks. She was supposed to come for a subpoena, a deposition on April 14, 2026. It was addressed to General Bondi. Now, from what I've heard, just because she's been fired doesn't mean this isn't going to happen. So basically, the committee is reviewing the possible mismanagement of the federal government's investigation on Mr. Jeffrey Epstein and Miss Ghislaine Maxwell, the circumstances and subsequent investigations of Epstein's death, the operation of sex trafficking rings, and ways for the federal government to effectively combat them in ways in which Mr. Epstein and Maxwell sought to carry favor and exercise influence to protect their illegal activities. And I think it's a good, this is a sign of what a good country can do, where, if you do detect that there's corruption in your nation, you do your best to stamp it out. Seems like that ain't fucking happening these days. Now, the reality of it is they say possible mismanagement, but I'm going to just err on the side that there definitely has been serious mismanagement. The FBI has probably done, the DOJ has probably done the worst job trying to cover up this entire situation. Whether it be metadata getting leaked out, whether it be the fact that redactions weren't properly done in some cases, whether it be that victims were re-victimized in this whole situation, whether it be the fact that people who had no reason to be fucking redacted were actually redacted in the first place. There is such an insane level of mismanagement, it would make a fucking banana republic shit itself with how stupid this looks. Now, it's really interesting too is that even other guys like Kashyap Patel and a lot of people are like, Muda, why are you so hard on the Indian guy? Well, I don't know, motherfucker. It's because I am the Indian guy, okay? I actually looked at this dude and I was like, man, it's good to see some representation. And then you see how much of a DEI hire this guy is, and I use that term appropriately over here. Like, I use that in the mocking way that some people will say, because this guy literally was hired for it's not like this guy had any fucking merit whatsoever. I'm sure he had a great career, but his mismanagement and constant dick sucking is so hilarious to watch that it makes me wonder how he gets up on here, how he has the balls to actually come out and basically still protect anybody. Like, dog, you are part of the FBI. Your job is to stop serious cases. That involves human trafficking. And I think that without a shadow of a doubt, this man has, in my opinion, personally, I believe, okay, and I say these things for legal reasons, but I do personally believe him. I think he's done far exceptional. Like, I think he's done a great job at not pursuing any level of justice in this situation. I think he's done a great job being somebody that is a great sycophant, somebody that just sucks up the people at the top. In fact, everyone over here who's getting cleared out now, whether it be Pam Bondi, whether it potentially be this guy, or people that are kind of turned into like scapegoats for not just this Epstein stuff, but really all the other ills that has been going on in the federal government. And I think that is not just a great attempt at trying to divert the blame, but trying to like put a lightning rod on certain people so people stop looking at those in the top or even beyond. But it's just gross to see happening right here. And I'm actually the only saving grace. One of the reasons that I can make this video and feel happy about it too is that I don't think people are actually buying it, and that's just a good thing to see. Now, I've started to look a little bit closer into people like Bondi, for instance, right? And when the threats start unraveling, it gets even wilder, right? Like, for instance, this is from the Citizens for Ethics, and when you start to look at the history of this guy and this woman, you can start to see that the seeds of miscarriage were sown pretty fucking early. So back in February 1st, 2008, what turned out was like there were complaints made to this Trump University, Trump Institute, and all these organizations. For anybody that doesn't know what it is, this is basically like Trump University back in the day. It was like a for-profit realtor college. And again, like many colleges, like many for-profit colleges, like they turn out to not be the pathway to success that some people think, right? Some people just put their money into this shit. They think they're gonna start having a great six-figure salary. Doesn't fucking happen. And of course, even people like this Marco Rubio fellow, which now is, again, the second biggest glazer to the man, the president in power. Yeah, he used to call this shit a fucking scam, by the way. University is an absolute scam. Get the facts.
Hey, Ark, how are
Marco,
you?
let's listen to the facts here.
Marco,
This is back in
welcome.
2016 when he had testicles
Trying to
connected
finish
him.
this
Now they're all
art piece
fucking
here.
cut down bitches is what they are, dude.
How are you,
University was
Archearch?
mired in fraud and deception.
You a good
Trump's
girl?
facing 3
You've been a
lawsuits,
good
2
girl?
class actions
I'm
filed
sure
in
you
California,
did.
1 in
I'm
New
sure you
York,
are.
which argued that the program took in an estimated $40 million but was mired in fraud and deception. We started looking at Trump University and discovered that it was a classic bait and switch scheme. It was a scam, starting with the fact that it wasn't even a university. More than 100 victims have decided to come forward saying that this shit was a ripoff. And again, a lot of these people thought that they could get into it, learn a few things, and get rich quick. This is the kind of scam that still works in today's society. And it works even harder because people really do need to get rich quick. Have you seen how fucking bad gas prices are today? I was driving home. We're looking at $1.79, $1.80 a liter in Canada, okay? It's jumping up like crazy. Not the highs that I've seen since COVID, where like shit was about $2 a liter, insanity to see. But yeah, shit's getting expensive all around. People need to get rich. And unfortunately, this isn't the only scam that you can find. One of the beautiful scams that I saw from the old Trump family was the fucking phone scam right over here. You know, the Trump Mobile. Has anybody actually even gotten one of these cell phones yet? Have you gotten your Freedom Phone? I'm pretty sure the answer to that might be fucking no. And we're not even going to dive into the gaggle of crypto NFT nonsense. You know, it's one of the reasons why, like, covering a scam just doesn't have the same impact anymore when you start seeing them happening from, like, literally the most powerful people at the top. And the thing is, when you are running the country, you kind of have a fucking pass to, I guess, do whatever the fuck you want. So going back to the Citizens for Ethics timeline, one thing that really did interest me is obviously as people were looking into this Trump University, going down further, they were reviewing allegations, and eventually an individual known as Pam Bondi steps in. September 17, 2013, a $25,000 contribution happens to a group called Justice for All, which is a political group backing Pamela Bondi. And of course, this donation, which was illegal in a very narrow sense for a 501c3 private foundation, was personally solicited by Bondi from Trump, okay? So insanity to see, okay? If I fuck up my taxes, you fuck up your taxes, me and you get a bitch complaint from the Internal Revenue Service, okay? Whatever the fuck tax agency report to. These guys are shuffling 5 figs. And they don't get any problems with it. You know, they might have to like file some like corrections down the road and they can keep fucking up. Nothing happens. So according to documents turned over to, again, Crew's public records request, which you can do if you're in America, there was no consideration of whether to join this lawsuit in light of the fact the Attorney General's office received one consumer complaint 2.5 years ago. There is no investigation at this time. So again, right over here, the Tampa Bay reports that this organization received the contribution from the Trump Foundation. And despite previously acknowledging the 22 complaints, internal emails show that between October 17 to 18, 2013, the Office of Attorney General employees weeded out any complaints about the Institute and related entities to claim that there was only one complaint about Trump University. So again, just to give you an insane idea over here, right? Like you cut a check, $25,000, by the way, which, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of money, but you have to imagine, right? For somebody who has a stoic career like Pam Bondi, allegedly, of course, in this case, is that enough to compromise you? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I've had sponsorship offers that are like double that, okay? Like the worst, like insanity, you know, like the worst sponsorship offer. I imagine she could solicit way more money and still keep her ethics in some regards, right? Allegedly, if this is all 100% kosher and halal. So Trump representatives admit to the illegal donation, blaming a series of clerical errors. Like I said, if you and I had tax issues, we'd be bitched out. They can call it a clerical error. It's insanity to see, man. Like, you know, people always say like, damn, do you have like derangement syndrome? I'm like, no, the facts are right here. You know, you just have to be able to read and parse it through. Bondi's like, I was never, nor was my office investigating him. Never. I would never lie. I would never take money. I was obviously devastated over this. I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are, you fucking bitch. God damn. But you can read all this for yourself. Citizensforethics.org reports investigations, Crew investigations, Trump Foundation, Pam Bondi scandal. And again, you should read this, right? Even if you're not somebody that is a fan, even if you're somebody that is a fan of Donald Trump, right? Even if you're somebody that's like, this guy is my fucking boy, I love this man with all my heart, you should be able to read everything about this. And it's this kind of stuff that I read that just sort of like fucks my mind up a little bit. Like it really does fuck my head up. the whole thing about this Epstein situation has sort of like been a real wake-up call for me. It's been a wake-up call because, you know, I've covered a lot of fucked up shit in my time on YouTube and in my online career. Like, I've looked at actual sick people on the internet. But the thing is, I've always looked at that from the lens of, hey, this is like a Club Penguin private server. This is a really fucked up situation. Hey, Disney got involved. Good things got done. You know, people started to get targeted by law enforcement. You know, you start looking at things like, you know, creepy fucking killers on the internet, and hey, law enforcement gets involved, and the FBI gets involved, and people actually face some level of justice. And then you start looking at things like QAnon, you start looking at, you know, grooming networks on the internet, and you're like, hey, this is a really dark side of the internet. Is it true? Is it not? There's only so far you can look into these things.
Yeah.
You know, people tell you there's like so much evil shit on the dark web. But then, you know, one day happens when you look at a case like Epstein, and I've been following this stuff since it ever dropped years ago. And I was thinking maybe something's going to come out of it. I was really, really looking forward to this administration trying to pursue justice. And all of that was shot dead in the water when I saw just how poorly this whole situation was handled. To be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, the thing that really just also chaps my ass too, like, you can just look at the budget that came out as I was talking about this whole situation, and you can see that, you know, to raise money for wars on the other side of the world, they're taking away money from people that run farms. They're taking away money from shit like NASA, where, you know, you're taking away $3.4 billion here, $1.1 billion there, hundreds of millions of dollars away from this. You know, something that actually does lead to some level of science and technological advancements for not just the United States, but the entire world. That's being zipped away so we can bomb people on the other side of the world that we had no reason to bomb in the fucking first place. Shit's getting expensive. Shit's getting fucked up. Shit's getting annoying simply because of, again, people that are from a generation that shouldn't even be running in office are running the fucking world, you know? It's crazy. You know, after 65 years of age, you're supposed to retire gracefully and fuck off and do something. Except now you get to run the fucking country, okay? Whatever side of the aisle you're on. And not only run it, but run that shit into the fucking ground. You know, ladies and gentlemen, this Epstein stuff, there's really not much more that you can really say on top of it. Unless some actual, and I mean, I'm honestly like sitting here, unless an actual arrest is made, here's the reality of it. This has effectively been covered up. This has been covered up to the point where all people can do and sit down and say the most powerful, the most justice-hungry nation in the world stopped giving a shit about what is right and wrong and decided to, you know, just let a few people at the top enrich themselves. And, you know, the people that were the most ardent supporters, the people that gave up their careers, people like Pam Bondi, people like Kash Patel, people like these scumbags, not only did they give up all of their fucking legitimacy, not only did they give up their entire careers, because let's be honest with it here, right? Their names are completely butchered and marred by this whole Epstein fuck-up and a litany of other fuck-ups. And what do they get in the end of it? They got kicked the fuck out. They got kicked out to the curb. At least one of them, you know? I don't know what's up with the resident Indian for now. Maybe it's not as easy to kick him out of the office. Maybe it'll look a little bit bad. But who fucking knows? Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, 𝙂𝙚, and yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, this is an insane update, but I feel like one of the reasons why I do make these videos is because a lot of people do enjoy that, you know, it does stay in the limelight. People do talk about it. But also, I think it's important to make factual pieces about this, so at least somebody that is trying to get caught up with the whole vortex of information surrounding this at least comes here and gets as much factual information as they can. Again, everything that I show you has a citation. Everything that I show you, I put on the screen so you can pause, read it for yourself, okay? I don't have any particular side in this case, right? Like, I'm like a fucking lip-tard, I guess some could say, but I do care about the truth, and I do care about, like, actual justice being done, especially to people that take advantage of our most vulnerable, right? Especially children. And I guess if we live in a society that's not something we focus on, I don't know, man. Maybe the whole system just needs to burn. Maybe it ain't worth living anymore in some cases, if that's how fucked up shit is. But a lot of it is also, you have to be able to confront the most fucked up parts of your world before things change, right? It was easy when all you could do is sit down, scratch your balls, play a video game. But when you start to see everything get more expensive, when you start to see everything get more fucked up, when you start to see that all your boys aren't able to get jobs because there aren't jobs to go around, then you gotta fucking say something. You know, it's time to finally start like kind of speaking. But
Exactly.
look, I might be a jaded person. I can still sit here and say things can get better. They just have to get worse before they get better, I guess. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Pam Bondi, you stupid bitch. Look what you got on your knees. You fucking you took every evil load you can, and what did you get in the end? A fucking not even a goddamn gift basket. I am out.
Yeah, so pretty much we gotta fight for justice at this point. Really do. Alright, there we go. Do real quick. Okay, I like it. I like it. Ooh. I say this is complete. I say this is complete. It will allow me to is signature. Alright. Make sure I get that. Okay. Alright, we gotta sign our name here now. I can save two versions of this, one for my supporters and one for the post for social media. Outside that, pretty much. First, I'm happy for this. I'm happy about this. Save that. But yep, I'm happy about this. And obviously I'm gonna post a reference as well for Twitter and Blue Sky. I'll make sure pretty much people can use the references I use. But yeah, pretty much that's it. Oh, I completely forgot. I need to do my signature. Hold on real quick. I almost forgot. I need to do my signature real quick. Alright, here we go. Ah, fuck. Yeah. There we go, and the date. It is the 4th. Alright. And put the date on the other side. I like to date my art. And I like to date my art. But yeah. Yeah, it's fine. That actually looks good. And you. Alrighty, chat. I'm gonna be ending off today's stream here. Probably gonna pretty much just relax, maybe get something to eat and get to eat and then just go to sleep. But with that being said, I just want to say thank you everyone for joining today's stream. My name is Brainflits. I'm a variety streamer. I stream lots of big games, ChatGPT, as well as I draw art, and hopefully I'll be doing 3D modeling for everyone here. That being said, I gotta get going on Blitzies. Bye bye, Matane.